inmates and destruction of facilities is being investigated.
The attack on the Nigerian Correctional Service Imo State Command in the early hours of Monday, April 5, 2021, came as a surprise to residents of Owerri, the Imo State capital. A visit to the Correctional Service shows that the attack left the custodial center empty, as the attackers, who were said to have shot sporadically at the facility, released the inmates numbering over 200. Evidence of the attack by yet to be identified persons littered around the premises of the Correctional Service along Okigwe Road, Owerri. James Maduba is the Public Relations Officer, Nigerian Correctional Service, Imo State Command.
It's 2:15 a.m. this morning. Some group of unidentified gunmen came to the custodial center. They are numbering about up to 10-12 vehicles that came early this morning, and when they arrived, they started shooting sporadically.
Meanwhile, attackers of the Correctional Service did not spare the Imo State Police Command, as wreckage of vehicles and other facilities were seen littered around the police headquarters. Although no response has been given by the information unit of the police command, there are speculations that the assault led some officers injured. In Owerri, Lorita Rizegui, NTA News.
And President Muhammad Buhari has condemned the deadly insurgent attack that took place on the police command headquarters and the correctional facility in Owerri, Imo State on Monday, calling it an act of terrorism. In his reaction to the incident early on Monday, President Buhari praised the initial response by security guards and security forces for preventing greater loss of life and the destruction of public property. He directed security and intelligence agencies in the state and the geopolitical zone to fully mobilize and go after the terrorists, apprehend and get them punished under the full weight of the law. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the President also called for the best efforts to be made to rearrest fleeing prison detainees, many of whom are believed to be deadly criminals. President Buhari then appealed to members of the public to assist law enforcement agencies with many relevant information that could lead to the apprehension of these criminals who perpetrated these despicable acts. He also urged members of the public to be vigilant, as all of us have at stake in preserving our way of life from disruption of terrorists and anarchists, while the federal government will use every available tool at its disposal to confront and terminate this barefaced anarchy. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has ordered the immediate deployment of additional units of police mobile force and other police tactical squads to Imo State to strengthen security in the state and prevent further attacks on security and other assets. A statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, Frank Kumba, indicates that the IGP gave the directives following the attack on security operatives and formations, including the Imo State Police Command headquarters and the headquarters of the Nigerian Correctional Services in Owerri, the Imo State capital. Preliminary investigations revealed that the attackers attempted to gain access to the police armory at the command headquarters, but was however resisted by police operatives on duty who repelled the attackers. Meanwhile, one of the operational vehicles of the attackers has been recovered by the police and is currently being subjected to forensic scrutiny and investigations. The IGP, who described the deliberate and criminal act on security personnel as an act on the soul of the nation, enjoins leaders in Imo State, the southeast and other parts of the country to speak out against the unfolding violence and criminality. The IGP calls on citizens to avail the police and other security agencies with useful information that will assist in identifying and rearresting the criminals. And 5 of the kidnapped students of Federal College of Forestry Mechanization has regained freedom and are undergoing medical checkup at a military facility. A statement by the Commissioner, Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs, Kaduna State, Samuel Aruwa, said the Nigerian military informed the Kaduna State government of the freedom of 5 of the many kidnapped students of the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization Monday. The Kaduna State government will provide updates and further operational feedback to be received on the case. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osibajo, commiserated with the people of Egedege and Efium communities in Ishelu and Ohauku local government areas of Ebonyi State over the recent killings following communal crisis in the areas. The Vice President condoled with the people when he visited the scenes of the incidents. Chika Okori reports.
The tragic event was an alleged attack by bandits. The Efium opera, which has lingered for more than 3 months now, is traceable to a trade union misunderstanding that degenerated to a clannish war. Saddened by the developments, Professor Yemi Osibajo, in the company of the state governor, assured the people that justice will be duly served, while heavy security presence in the affected communities will be sustained.
I think that what we have seen here is very cowardly and wicked. And all of us condemn it, and we say that it must not be allowed to happen again. Let me assure you that we will seek justice on behalf of those who have died, not just because they are Nigerians, but because they are human beings and they deserve justice.
Governor David Umahi appealed for the provision of 5 billion naira to enable the affected people rebuild their lives.
Time has come, sir, for the federal government to approve state police. I suggest that NEMA should come, bring food for these people in ID, bring clothing for them, then bring building materials.
The visit of Vice President Yemi Osibajo, the people say, is an indication that the federal government is much committed to addressing security challenges in the areas. In Abakaliki, Chika Okore, NTA News.
Still on security, Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Isiaka Oladayo Amao has charged troops on the front line to use the successes recorded so far in the theater as a stepping stone in ending the ongoing war against terrorism. The Chief of Air Staff stated this while interacting with personnel of Air Component of Operation Lafia Dole as part of activities to commemorate this year's Easter celebration. Abubakar Mohammed Musa reports.
It has been a routine for the Nigerian Air Force to organize such get-together for troops on the front line towards refreshing them in order to finish the task of restoring complete normalcy to the Northeast region and beyond. This is the main reason why the airmen and women are not armed currently, but having a memorable moment with the Chief of Air Staff while remembering the pivotal role they must play in defending the territorial integrity of the country. Congratulating the soldiers on the occasion of Easter, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, saluted the troops for the feat achieved so far in the theater and urged them to gather the needed momentum for overall success to be achieved. The Chief of Air Staff also commented on the Nigerian Air Force Alpha jet that went missing recently while on an interdiction mission in Borno.
We missed 2 of our colleagues that we're still searching for. And we have intensified efforts also. We also use the opportunity to brief on what the next line of action.
Glowing tribute was paid to soldiers who died in the line of duty. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Mohammed Musa, NTA News.
An Islamic cleric, Sheikh Hamid Gumi, has met with former President Olusegun Obasanjo as part of his quest in finding a lasting solution to the nation's insecurity, menace of banditry and case of kidnapping for ransom, especially in many parts of the north. Chief Obasanjo received the cleric and his entourage in the company of Agura of Bagura Oba Babajide Bakari, Ogun State Christian Association of Nigeria, Bishop Tunde Akinsoya, Chief Imam of Egbeda Land, among others at his altar residence. In a communique issued after the closed-door meeting, Sheikh Gumi rallying efforts made by him in an effort to find a solution to the challenges of insecurity in the country, commended Chief Olusegun Obasanjo for his past selfless efforts towards the sustenance of peace and unity in Nigeria. It described the recent clash between herders and their host communities in some parts of the country as micro-ethnic conflict, which must not be allowed to escalate, and called on Nigerians to join hands with the federal government in resolving the challenges. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo described the task in keeping Nigeria safe and secured as a collective responsibility and urged the federal government to establish special courts to try cases of banditry, kidnapping and unlawful carrying of weapons, among other criminal activities. President of the Senate, Hamid Lawan, has kicked against calls by some proponents of Nigeria's disintegration by throwing his full weight behind one Nigeria. The chief lawmaker made this position known while reacting to some national issues at his country home in Yobe State. Yunusa Sulaiman reports.
There's no gainsaying to the fact that no country in the world is without its own peculiar challenges, Nigeria inclusive. Despite emerging security challenges affecting some parts of the country, majority of Nigerians still believe in the oneness of Nigeria, for a greater good has been reflected in the conduct of their daily activities. Contrary to what some few groups and individuals are agitating for Nigeria's disintegration, President of the Senate Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan is among millions of Nigerians who still believe that the unity of the country is non-negotiable and it must remain as an indivisible entity.
Nigeria will continue to be one. What we need to emphasize always is equity, justice and fairness to all for all. And I believe that this is one way to go, probably the only way to go, to ensure that everybody feels belonged.
Senator Lawan says, with the appointment of the new service chiefs, the country is witnessing new strategies in dealing with threats to national security, and that President Muhammadu Buhari and the National Assembly are working to provide more resources through a proposed supplementary budget for the nation's security agencies to effectively fight insurgency, banditry, militancy, as well as kidnapping.
Security is key, it's essential, it's a must. It's a necessity that we have to restore normalcy in this area. And Mr. President gave the service chiefs 6 weeks that we have to restore security in our rural areas, particularly because the rainy season will come pretty soon, maybe in the next 2 months, and without the security in those rural areas, there will be no famine.
He stresses that all security challenges affecting the country are surmountable and pledges Senate's full backing to achieving that. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Still on nation building, the Inter-Party Advisory Council is re-emphasizing the need for peace and unity. Leveraging on this year's Easter celebration, the council calls on sowers of seeds of discord to always think Nigeria first in their dealings. Timothy Yusuf reports.
To demonstrate the attributes of Jesus Christ, which are epitomized in love for mankind, forgiveness and discipline, has been described by many as a possible solution to some of the nation's challenges. IPAC is therefore urging faithful to emulate Christ by tolerating and showing love, kindness and render help to one another during the Easter season and after.
Government should forbid and also warn and prosecute individuals inflaming the polity with their speeches, whether it is hate or otherwise.
Political elites are reminded that the Easter period calls for sober reflection on God's love for mankind and how this can reflect in one's relationship with fellow human beings to make the world a better place. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. More stories ahead. To stay with us.
What limits you? Nothing. Who defines you? No one. Where can you go? Everywhere. With unlimited super-fast internet access, free Intel to Intel calls, and crystal clear quality conversations, you can do and be whatever you want to be. Intel. Live more.
Thanks for staying with NTA International. The commemoration of the crucifixion, death and resurrection of Jesus Christ may have ended Sunday, but the spillover continues Monday. Daniel Aderiye in this special report examines the significance of Easter Monday in the dynamic lives of Nigerians as they celebrate it.
6 a.m. I was still asleep, very much asleep.
Well, I woke up as early as 5:30.
Two Nigerians living with totally different realities. This is the story of most Nigerians on a public holiday like Easter Monday. The Bible may not have a detailed significance of Easter Monday and what it represents, but across the globe, different cultures celebrate the day differently. For some, it's a more solemn remembrance of Christ's death and subsequent resurrection, which is marked with an outdoor procession.
Most times you feel as though it would just be one dull vibe because you repeat it every year, but every year it's that feeling always comes.
So you're saying COVID didn't change?
It didn't change anything at all. Like
the role I played during the reenactment of the Passion of Christ was the soldier, one of the soldiers who crucified Jesus. So my job there was to act as fierce as possible, to make it look like, oh yeah, Jesus was a common criminal, and obviously we're supposed to crucify him and then kill him. So I was meant to be wicked.
For others, there's a more playful element to celebrating the day, like holding Easter egg rolling competitions or learning a new recipe.
I'm trying out. I like to make use of my free times to try out new recipes and all of that. So I'm trying. I want to make tiger nut milk, kunuaya. So I'm trying to see how to make it. I want to learn how to make it personally today. And try out new recipes.
I feel it's a good thing. There's this, sense of probably satisfaction, even though, yes, you want to rest as a human being, as a worker, you just want to rest. But it's something I signed for, and I'm happy that I'm here doing it.
Whether home, office or school, be sure to enjoy the remainder of the Easter celebrations in your own little way, however socially distant it may seem. In Abuja, Daniel Aderiye, NTA News.
Still on the mood, public and private workers may seem to be enjoying luxury of long public holidays, but for those in the informal sector and essential services, how do they cope with such holidays? So Afina Okon-Umekwe captured the mood of activities in the FCT on this Easter Monday.
This is the ever-busy Area 10 by UTC in the metropolis, usually filled up with human and vehicular movement. With the public holidays, it is almost empty. This 17-year-old Suraju Musa, a wheelbarrow pusher, popularly called Mebaro, says if not for the public holidays, he makes 3,000 to 5,000 naira daily. But so far today, all he has worked is about 800 naira. The story is different with Obieze Kelvin, who is into repairs of air conditioner and refrigerator.
People with the very luck, I carry them go inside, so I get my money, because if you see person where they keep something, go Tifa, people that carry you go looking for station. That's why I can't push barrel me, manage myself.
We are not public servants, so we are here to look for our daily bread. So that's why I'm here. The customers are coming.
A drive to the central business districts, there was less of vehicular activities. We met with Ibrahim, who is into the sales of flowers, interior decors and artworks. He says business is booming.
We thank God because there is places where they come, open shop, they know say something. So today we thank God there is many people that come by plenty market for our hand.
Ibrahim indeed could not wait to finish his interview with us as he ran off to attend to his customer. The FCDA maintenance department were seen taking advantage of the holidays to carry out maintenance in the FCT. The federal government declared Friday through Monday 5th April as holidays for the Easter celebrations. Workers are expected to resume work tomorrow. In Abuja, Serafina Okon-Umekwe, NTA News.
Every 5th April is observed as International Day of Conscience to promote ethical ideals for cohesion and growth. Against the celebration this year, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim looks at how Nigerians put in practice act of good conscience, peace and good character for nation building.
There is a common saying that man's behavior can either help in building the society or destroys it. This is well understood by Ayomide Al-Hassan, who believes in promoting right conduct.
Conscience tells me like that I'm wrong, and I'll think about it. If somebody do wrong, then we should use like our conscience like to promote good conduct.
Character and conscience, it's two sides of the coin. Nigeria, a homogeneous society, is renowned for good virtues that guarantees peace, unity and stability. However, many are worried that these cherished virtues have been bastardized with narratives of unethical acts that are alien to the nation.
Fake news, rumors. Some people just sit there in his room and just write the report and he broadcast it. If we're asking you to subscribe to lies and unfounded truths. So if we regulate our social media, definitely Nigeria will progress a lot.
Another area of concern for many is how well do the citizens assist security agencies with right information in tackling insecurity.
So if you see something that is wrong going on, make a call and inform the authorities about it, because whatever goes round comes round. If there's fire burning in your neighborhood and you are so unconcerned, it can come to your house too.
Every Nigerian, if everybody in the world, would have to work according to the prompting of their conscience, which is towards goods, then you see that everywhere will become better.
So, as the world focuses on the gains of International Conscience Day, championed by the United Nations since 1989, it is emphasized that the culture of peace and right character bond people together, promote democracy, justice and development. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Let's now shift attention to aviation. The outcome of an audit report by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has indicted NTAi management of failing to carry out their assigned duties in compliance with the operations manual and in line with the Nigerian Civil Aviation Regulations, NCARS. This was after grounding the airline's operation to note the root causes of incidents involving all its Boeing 737. Director General NCAA Captain Musa No says in the case of management personnel required for commercial air transport operations, Azman Air was found not to be in compliance with the provisions of NCARS with regards to provision of resources and discharge of the duties of the accountable manager. Azman was found also not to be in compliance with the discharge of the duties of the Director of Flight Operations, thereby unable to maintain safe commercial flight operations. This is evidenced by a lack of safety officers in the Flight Operations Department. It also discovered that some pilots were overdue for trainings, also ineffective monitoring of tire wear, overdue engineers training in human factors, and outdated B737 approved maintenance program. Next is Sports Update with Tamara Ibiwi. Thank you, Tamara. Next is a look at the weather picture for Nigeria and other parts of the world. And that ends the news at this hour on NTA International. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Elizabeth Omori and my interpreter is Grace Ilori. Remember to connect with us at the NTA Stand Against Rape and Rapists. Thank you so much for your time.